Hello and welcome. It's 11 a.m. here in Seoul. I'm Ji-young at the Arirang News Center. We're breaking into our regular programming to provide you with the latest live briefing from the South Korean health authorities on the COVID-19 outbreak. In just a few moments, we'll cut into the briefing at the Sejong Government Complex with simultaneous interpretation in English. Yoon Tae-ho, the overall officer of disinfection of the Central Disaster Management Headquarters, will be briefing us on the coronavirus situation here in the country. We should be getting a breakdown of the number of new infections as of midnight, as well as any trends and possible updates and the latest on the vaccine campaign. Also, the latest social distancing measures and efforts that the government is making to contain the virus. To give you a brief idea as we wait, South Korea reported 525 new cases of COVID-19 on Friday, down 49 from yesterday's figure. Of Friday's new cases, 509 were locally transmitted. Let's take a look at the briefing.
Let us now begin our regular briefing for May 7th, Friday. Today, we carried out a quarantine measures meeting and we discussed the quarantine in the Chungcheongbuk-do province. And last week, there were a average daily infection of 8 cases in Chungcheongbuk-do province. However, the region is also continuing to have its guard up for the quarantine measures. And starting from last week, it has been recommending the people with clinical symptoms of COVID-19 to get tested for COVID-19 by the doctors and the pharmacists. And through such measures, 25 confirmed cases have been identified, and we were able to contain the further spread of the virus. And marking the month of family here in May, they are also highly concerned of high movement of traffic, and also they have agreed to elevate the social distancing measures to level 2, and to this end, they will have restrictions of patrons and the number of visitors at sports stadiums and also multi-use facilities. And starting from the 20th of April, we have also 12 counties in Gyeongsang-buk-do province, and they have been having a pilot run of an ease in the social distancing measures, and they only had about 9 infections, and this is only about 2 infections per every 1 million people, which is a very stable infection outbreak that they are seeing right now. So to this end, the central government and the local authorities continue to exert efforts, and we will also cooperate going forward to carry out these quarantine measures. And right now, we are receiving the advanced booking for the COVID-19 vaccinations for the senior citizens, and also from Monday next week, we will also open the booking for those over the age of 65. And you could also utilize the webpage as well as call centers, and you could also utilize the public health facilities as well as community centers in the regions to enable facilitated and access to these bookings. And as for the senior citizens, we ask you to go online and also book your COVID-19 vaccination appointments. As you can see here on the screen, for those aged over the age of 60, we see that about 5.2 out of every 100 infections of these senior citizens lost their life due to COVID-19. And this means that the COVID-19 infection means it is very risky for the senior citizens. And the fatality rate above the age of 60 actually hovers around 95%. And also, with a single dose of the vaccine, you could prevent about 86.6% of the infections for COVID-19. And also, according to the research done in other countries, we see that the side effects of blood clots due to the vaccine is about 0.001 person per every 100 people. So this means that if you are vaccinated with the COVID-19 vaccine, you could not only safeguard your health, but also safeguard that of other people as well. And also, the medical experts here in South Korea note that there are much more benefits of the vaccine, and they far outweigh the side effects of the vaccines. And right now, the AstraZeneca vaccines are being administered at around 130 countries around the world, and the Pfizer vaccines are being delivered at about 80 countries around the world. And here in South Korea, there are no scientific evidence that we are more prone to these side effects of the vaccines, and we believe that you should not be too much nervous or have anxiety over these vaccinations. And so if it is your turn to get the vaccination, please get the vaccination and also book your vaccination appointment in advance. Tomorrow, we celebrate Parents' Day here in South Korea, and we also would like to encourage the children of the senior citizens to also help your parents to get the bookings for vaccine appointments. And as for the web page appointment bookings, you could also do so for your senior citizens. And up until yesterday, we have had more than 3,608,000 people who have been administered with the COVID-19. This is about 7% of the total population here in South Korea. And we are aiming to achieve 13 million vaccinations by the end of June. And we also have secured enough vaccines to give out to our citizens. However, the exact timing and the schedule of the arrival of these vaccines are difficult to be revealed to the public because of the agreement of confidentiality signed with the drug makers and vaccine manufacturers globally. And this is the same conditions that are also signed and inked by other countries with these multi-country companies as well. And we believe that this is the particular feature of these vaccine markets, while it does look a little bit unjust. However, at a present time, we need to also embrace these conditions that we have, and the government will also continue to exert our full efforts to secure as many as doses of the vaccines as possible. We will also exert our full efforts to carry out continued negotiations with vaccine makers around the world. And also to prevent a possible shortage of the vaccines, we are also supporting our Korean firms to develop Korean vaccines. And we will also spare no efforts to supply support for these vaccine developers here in South Korea to make homegrown vaccines. We will also exert our full efforts to provide support and incentives. And in order to prevent our society from the risks of COVID-19, there are many people who are exerting their full efforts, including the citizens who have already been received with the vaccines, as well as the medical professionals and public servants. We thank you once again. The government is exerting its full efforts to help the citizens return to a state of normalcy. Thank you very much.
네, 지금부터 질의응답 시간을 가지겠습니다. 배석자분들은 단상위로 올라와 주세요.
That was a government briefing on the COVID-19 situation here in the country. South Korea reported 525 new COVID-19 cases on Friday. This brings the accumulated number of cases to 126,044. There have been 9 more deaths, raising the death toll to 1,860. We'll wrap up the coverage here. We'll be back at 12 p.m. Korea time for our midday news with Mark Broom. Bye for now.